How's it going, Yankee fans? My name is Alex, and my co-host here, Ryan Garcia. Yesterday's game was absolutely torturous. Not being able to score runs, not being able to run the bases well. That was probably one of the worst base running games I've ever seen. Straight up, Miguel Andujar, IKF. I don't know what these guys are thinking about being so aggressive when you have a guy already starting on second base. Andujar was halfway to third base before the bat even left freaking Hicks's. The ball even left Hicks's bat, and it was a line drive right to the second baseman. And even then, he hesitated and stuttered. It's just, got to be a little bit more conservative in the situations like this where, you don't have any runs on the board. You have second base. You have guys coming up, IKF rounding first base, going to second base. Just absolutely abysmal decisions, right? Like there's no reason for IKF to be trying to get to second base when there's a clear opportunity for the Seattle Mariners to get him out. And obviously they did that. And you have DJ LeMahieu and Judge coming up. It's just like boneheaded play like this is what is losing the Yankees games. Whereas earlier in the season, we were winning these games, getting these walk-off hits, these walk-off runs, and now we're losing them. And August seems to be a wash already. Like this is a really bad start to the month. The team is getting unhealthy. I guess they're not getting as healthy as we hope they do with Luis Severino still on the 60-day IL, Miguel Castro still on the 60-day IL. Now you lose Matt Carpenter to the fractured foot. This is a situation where the Yankees need to get healthier in the next couple of weeks here. And they've got to play better, more disciplined baseball. Like they've just fallen apart. And I don't really understand what's going on with them mentally that this is occurring. Ryan, maybe you have some ideas, but good teams like this that have made good decisions over the past couple months suddenly just, I guess for lack of a better term, just shitting the bed and not making good decisions on the base path, not doing the right thing. Maybe they were fatigued because of how late it was. I have no idea. What are your thoughts on what's going on lately in this team and just kind of why they've been able to make the right decisions?
So look, I think right now you're looking at a team that's kind of undisciplined, right? You saw Andujar yesterday gets called up, has like really horrific at bats. They're not competitive. Chasing at everything out of the zone, knowing, guys like, Matt Brash, you don't have the best command in the world, or Luis Castillo, who's going to attack you down the way. He's not at all, does not have any, ability to stay somewhat passive. And obviously Andujar's not starting in October, so, or even on the roster. So, you feel pretty good about the fact that, that struggle right there is going to go away as soon as Stanton comes back. As for, like guys like IKF, it's like, what is that base running error? What is that? What are we doing? Right. That's also on Trevino for trying to go on that. But if you're IKF, you gotta make sure you don't take the bat out of Aaron Judge's hands. And that's what he did. He took the bat out of Aaron Judge's hand in that inning, and that's unacceptable. Stanton helps for one main reason, right? He's a great hitter and he's going to hit home runs. He's going to help the Yankees, in that department. If the Yankees hit one home run yesterday, the Yankees would probably win that game, right? If the Yankees maybe have Stanton coming up instead of Torres, Donaldson, or Andujar, in that 4, 5, or 6 hole, you're going to see the Yankees score a run. I refuse to believe that Stanton doesn't help you there. Rizzo would help you, obviously. You feel good about hopefully having Rizzo today. If not for the Boston series. This team just needs to get healthy, man. I mean, you can't lose Rizzo and Stanton and then, have your middle of the lineup be, or the 4, 5, and 6 guys be Torres, Donaldson, and Andujar, and expect that you're going to win a lot of games. Torres has had a good season up until this point. I have confidence he'll turn it around, but you need to get healthy. You need it. Like Stanton needs to get back as soon as he can if this team wants to start playing better baseball. Thankfully, the Blue Jays lost last night. They lost against the Orioles, so kind of they've been in this weird spot where the Yankees have kind of left that division a little unattended, not wide open per se, but definitely unattended. And somehow, some way, the Yankees have kept the Blue Jays at bay. The Yankees have a 95.2% chance to win the division, despite the fact they've struggled mightily, and the Blue Jays kind of had an opportunity there to surge and fly through the standings, and they haven't necessarily done that yet. It's a matter of if, not when, the Blue Jays get rolling. It's a matter of it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when for the Blue Jays when they start rolling. I feel like that's a team that's really good, obviously. But if you're the Yankees, you need to get clicking so that you don't lose cushion in the division and force yourself to play stressful games in September when you should be getting guys rest. They got to stay healthy. They got to get healthy. Excuse me. They have to.
Yeah, look, they have plenty of time. We have weeks here before this team is in a spot where, like, okay, we need guys now. They have a couple weeks. It seems like they kind of are using August to get into the right shape, or like at least maybe get the bad shape out of them. I don't exactly know how you turn something like this around, except for getting healthier. You need Giancarlo Stanton back ASAP. I mean, you need his bat in the lineup. You cannot trust Josh Donaldson in the cleanup role anymore. Stanton's only played 80 games this year. Hitting 228 with a 31% on base rate, which isn't great by any means, but he is hitting 24 homers with 61 RBIs. When he's at the plate, any given moment, he can make something happen. If Giancarlo Stanton is in that game yesterday, one bad pitch, he sends it over the fence, you're winning that baseball game. You're not going to extra innings. That's the difference maker that Stanton is. Any given moment, he can change the course of a game, and that one run can be enough to push you over the hump, especially during the postseason when the pitching is obviously elevated. So, this is a situation where the Yankees have to try to find a way around this. I don't trust Andujar. I don't trust Estevan Florial. They're not going to replicate the production that Matt Carpenter had. And I think that's actually the biggest thing, is this is a much bigger issue than I originally thought. I thought, okay, Matt Carpenter's out. Stanton will come back, this and that, but I don't know when Stanton's coming back, right? The injury updates indicate that Stanton is going to be with the team against Boston in the upcoming series, but he's not ready to make a comeback yet. Anthony Rizzo is expected to return tonight on Wednesday, so at least we're getting another big bat in the lineup on the left side. So that should be a big bonus for this Yankee team. But Stanton, on the other hand, it could be another couple of weeks before we see him again. And at that point, you're still rolling with Andujar. You're still rolling with some of these guys. Like, you have no choice. I think that Rizzo coming back will give them a little bit more flexibility in terms of being able to DH someone, like a DH Glaber. They could DH, I don't know, Josh Donaldson if they wanted to. Glaber's been playing absolutely horrific baseball as of late. His at-bats look like he's useless at times. This infield is just falling apart, right? I'm not so much worried about the outfield. Benintendi's been playing well. Obviously, Judge is still awesome. DJ LeMahieu was consistent, and Rizzo has been consistent. But IKF, Donaldson, and Glaber, man, that is going to be a massive liability come the postseason. Are you worried about those three players? And I don't know if there's necessarily a fix. I know we've talked about Peraza and Cabrera maybe getting an opportunity here, but it doesn't seem like they're willing to do that just yet, unless things really get to a point where they need to make a change. But those three players right there are really confusing me and really giving me a little bit of caution heading into the postseason in a couple of weeks here. Are you worried about them up to this point?
I'm worried about, I don't want to get worried about certain guys that I think, like guys like Glaber. I believe in Glaber to be a good hitter. Donaldson, not really. I'm not at the point where I'm confident in him returning back to form. I kind of need to see him if he can give me like a 110 OPS plus, I'm happy with it because he's such a good defender. But DJ and Glaber have to start over him if he's not going to hit. And then you kind of look at the outfield. I mean, Benintendi, I feel pretty good about as well. I think, he's gotten better over the last few games, so I feel good about that. I think having Bader is going to help. And I imagine he's a starting center fielder. The guys I'm concerned about are guys who may not start in October. So that's really how I see it, right? You don't have to start. You don't have to start certain guys. And as long as you don't the guy I'm really worried about that concerns me most probably IKF, because I still don't know if the Yankees are willing to call up Peraza or Cabrera. So whereas I see it as if Donaldson struggles and Glaber does well, Glaber is going to start. Or if Glaber struggles and Donaldson does well, Donaldson's going to start. If IKF doesn't do well, you're not starting Marwin. It's not like Marwin's been tearing it up. He's equally as incompetent at the plate. He's a slower guy too, so it's not like you're getting a speed aspect there. So there's the concern that you don't have anything to do about. You can't do anything about IKF. And so that's a little bit more of the area of concern for me. Not to necessarily say that, he's the worst player ever. I still think that very clearly yesterday when you're watching that game, the worst player on the field is pretty easily Andujar, and that's the reason why he's in AAA, and that's why he's not the major league team, whatever. But IKF is you look at that at bat and in his last at bat of that game, I think John Boy broke it down. Defensive swing on the first strike, showing bunts and taking on strike two on a fastball that it very clearly caught the plate, and then chopping it up the middle and getting yourself thrown out. Against Castillo, he chased at everything. This can't. It's just I know that in October, facing pitching like that, IKF's going to get torn apart. He's going to get torn to shreds. This is the guy who makes rookie mistakes, right? He's not a seasoned veteran. This isn't, having if, like, let's say the Yankees signed Andrelton Simmons, and I know Andrelton Simmons is probably worse than IKF, but and he was giving you the production IKF is giving you, you can make this the veteran argument, the argument that, hey, he's a veteran, he's been here before. He has not been here before. Even with Donaldson, I can say he's been here before. And if I need to bring him in as a late game defensive sub or to pinch hit, that's not necessarily the worst thing ever. Against like a lefty on the road, it's not really the worst thing ever. Or even as a defensive sub, not the worst thing ever. With IKF, it's like, this is a rookie. This isn't a seasoned veteran. This is a guy who's getting rattled publicly. Like, he looks rattled. He plays rattled. He plays error prone. He plays like a rookie. He plays like how I anticipated different young guys to struggle on this team. And that's not acceptable. It's not like he's the only guy it's his first year. Trevino, it's his first year here. He didn't even spend spring training with us. And he is an integral part to this team. He executes almost every defensive play. He makes plays that only someone who they're plays that you would imagine only someone who's been with the organization for half a decade would have the presence of mind to make. Guys like Rizzo can make those type of plays. He can't. So I'm concerned that they don't have the replacement for him ready. I'm not sure if Peraza is ready in terms of how the Yankees view him. I'm not sure if they view Cabrera as ready, and that's kind of my biggest concern here. They don't really have an alternative.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to be able to find one because the trade deadline has passed. Peraza, is unproven. We don't know what he will be at the major league level. Yes, I'd love to give him a couple of reps, see what he can do. But, there's a very good probability that he just doesn't end up performing well because the transition to the AAA to majors and, typically transitions for him have not been easy. When he started off in AAA, he was not a good player for the first 2 months. It took him 2 months to finally get his groove. And the Yankees don't have 2 months to give him. You know what I mean? Maybe next year they can give him that opportunity, but this year it just doesn't look likely. That he'll be able to get under, just get going so fast. And, I'd give him a couple of opportunities. Maybe I'm wrong. But this is a tough spot. The Yankees have a lot of weaknesses right now. This is a team that is full of flaws, and we need Stanton healthy. We needed Michael King badly to stay healthy. We need Severino back at this point. We need guys to step up. We need an energizer, right? The team looks demoralized. They don't look energized. They don't look like they care half the time. The past couple of weeks here, they look like they're just struggling to maintain this pace, and the expectations are wearing them down. So hopefully they can turn things around. They need maybe stringing a couple of wins together would go a long way. They're losing winnable games at this point. They're not scoring runs in moments that they need to be. So we'll see what happens, guys. This is an interesting situation. The Yankees are facing probably the biggest piece of adversity they have all year, but there is reason to believe they can fight their way out of it. They just have to really try, and they need to get a little bit healthier here. So I'd love to hear your perspectives below in the YouTube comments, as always, my friends, about this team. What your thoughts on, Stanton, Rizzo's coming back today. That should be a huge help at first base and in the batter's box. He's obviously one of our better offensive weapons, especially as a lefty. So that's exciting. We got Boston coming up. They've been really bad the last couple of weeks, so hopefully we can take advantage of them and put some wins back on the board here. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Fireside Yankees. Make sure to like and subscribe as always, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.